Doing well. I'm doing well. And the subject is how do we avoid, avoiding getting tricked by media. You know what I mean? Avoiding getting tricked up by media. It's something kind of, um and I'm just gonna talk about it. My opinion or my view uh, on how we are being tricked by the media, and this is nothing new. It's nothing new. The media and propaganda has been being used against the people for a very long time, for some generations. Because if you just look at one thing, anything that the people got involved with, you know, in mass, was due to the people being moved around emotionally, so that you can favor a certain. Hey! Thanks for the heart me. Thanks for the heart me. Welcome in, y'all. I'm on TikTok and YouTube. But anything that we've been been moved to support, whether it's been going way back to like what World War II was. Thanks to the heart me, y'all, or what Vietnam was, or Korea was, or as an American, I'm speaking on that. But of course, thanks to the hashtags too, y'all. But any kind of conflict, any kind of like certain kind of thing was going on inside of the United States, it was the opinion of the people was moved through media and through propaganda, whether it's like whites versus blacks, all of that, what I mean, the government versus Mexicans, all of that stuff is things that are, the people are moved by what they show on the news, because for real, if the things that keep the people cool, they don't show that. They don't show that the people are cool in a lot of different areas. The people are cool in more areas than they are in conflict. But I'm just saying, this is something that I got a lot of. I put a lot of insight into, like, you know what I mean. Like, I understand, when I look at everything, how they doing. They trying to move the people. They trying to move the people against each other. Because when the people are against each other, it creates chaos, and that chaos needs a solution. And of course, the so-called people that's in charge, because they ain't in charge of your mind. You can think what you want to think and feel how you want to feel. If there's some type of chaos, they can come in and give you some type of fake solution to it, right? And then you think that you got to follow that, or it'll be chaos, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, a lot of stuff don't be feeding into that. Even I'm just saying, the emotional intelligence of the people is not at its highest. You know what I'm saying? Because if you still got people, that can be like upset because they hear racial slurs coming from people. Oh, such and such said nigga, or so and so over here called somebody some crackers, or anything. I'm just using that because that's like very, very prevalent in my country where I come from. It's always like niggas versus black versus white folks, or white folks versus Mexicans, or all that kind of stuff. But you know what I'm saying? And it's real, it exists, but for real, we don't like. Once you get to a certain level, you don't really care about what people believe in or what they feel. As long as they're not bothering you physically or getting in your way as you're trying to walk down the street, it don't really matter what they believe. But what I'm just saying is, the people that put out this propaganda, that put out a lot of fake media, or they build up a picture of a person, whether it be a politician, an athlete, a person in show business. They build this. They build this vision for you to see, so you can take a side. Or I'm against him because he said nigga, or I'm against them because they running around beating up white people in the street and all that. So like, each group of people has a certain emotional trigger. That's why, like, on a journey of like upgrading yourself spiritually, intellectually, and all of that, you gotta get to the point where though you're not triggered, and you gotta work on the triggers that's the closest to you. Like, a lot of so-called black people is emotionally triggered by the so-called slave story, or Jim Crow, or all that kind of stuff. So what? They know niggas get upset about that, right? We know that. And I'm going to speak plainly. They know niggas get upset when, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? For real, this is my opinion. And you know how they say everybody speak. Niggas got to get past that. Niggas got to get past like getting upset every time somebody is saying that kind of stuff. For real, it'd be good for you to get to the point where as though you laugh at these type things. You know what I'm saying? And knowing yourself, no matter who you are or what your background is, knowing yourself will give you the ability to just like laugh at that kind of stuff. We all understand and know that these things exist, but we gotta be, you know, we gotta start elevating past that. And I'm speaking about things really that's like prevalent in my country, you know, where I come from. Even though I am in Cambodia right now, but I'm an American. But what I'm saying is, don't get tricked, because everything I see on with dealing with media, like with news and things of that nature, I'll be like, yo, they trying to get the people hyped up. That's the only thing they're doing. Everything is hype, and it's turning into us against them. No matter who you are, like, okay, it's us against them. You know what I mean? So in order to elevate and go past that, you're gonna have to really dig deep into your own self and start realizing, like, only worry about what's going. I would advise you to only worry about what's going on in your immediate reality, whatever reality that you is living in. Worry about what's going on in that reality. Don't worry about what's going on somewhere else until you get a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, solid up top in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. You know what I mean, Miss Lady T? Because the people who are making things happen, I don't want to say, walaikum assalam, welcome in. These people do not function off, thanks for the heart, me too. They're not functioning off emotionalism. They're not. So the decision to shut something down or to open something up or to build this or to whatever, destroy that, these decisions are not emotionally made, because they know that how the people is going to be affected in one way or the other. So you got to take into consideration if you do and say a certain thing, it could affect like the safety of people, or it could affect the way these people make their money. So a lot of thought go into that. So you can't just be like, yo, they down there calling people niggas down at the beach, and you got to run down. Now you want to run down there and you want to start fighting people. You know what I'm saying? What you say? You don't want things to be convoluted in your reality or distort you. Right. Because guess what? You got people that's leaving out of a peaceful environment, leaving out of a peaceful reality to go and, you know, fight or whatever they're doing in a reality that's not even really real. And they only going there because they seeing something on TV or something online that's telling them that something's going on, and it's not really like that. A lot of that stuff is theater. That's why when I be seeing certain stuff, I'll be like, yo, I even comment every once in a while and be like, because I don't be wanting to feed into it. But sometimes I'll be like, do y'all understand that this is theater? Do y'all understand that this stuff is not real? I'm just saying, you know, a little bit of people at a time. Just like, well, deal with a little bit at a time for your own personal self, because that's what I do. I just deal with a little bit at a time. Like certain stuff, if you could see the foolishness of certain stuff, you should be able to see this stuff on TV. Should be able to know by now that they can fake anything. You got AI, even with the truth, they flooding the world with truths. Like it's a lot of truth that's coming out. It is the Truman Show. You know what I mean? The truth been flooded, but now guess what? They letting you see that you can make stuff with the AI now that look real. Like you really can't, if you really like a lunchbox and you think everything is real out here, and you see some of these AI videos, you're gonna think it's real, but it's not. You see what I'm saying? So only thing I'm saying is, if you have to take all of that into consideration. You know, they got green screens and Hollywood, different stuff that they using technology. They're not even using these actors that you think is in these movies. That's not even really them. They just using their image. You get what I'm saying? So how do you believe that if they saying a certain thing is going on somewhere, how can you just believe off just what you see on there is real? No, you better investigate. You better look at stuff. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, Everybody not gonna get it. Everybody not gonna get it. And some of the people, sometimes, you just gonna have to be like a lone star, like a lone, you know what I'm saying, like somebody who just gets it for yourself. Because guess what? That's really what it is anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because we all not gonna achieve like certain awareness levels of awareness at the same time. You know what I mean? So like, like you still got people. Well, guess what? You got people still bugging off religion. You got people still bugging off the race thing. You got people bugging off race. I'm talking about people that know that race is a construct. So race is a construct. The construct don't just work to this side's advantage. It works for both of them. It's a construct. It ain't meaning it ain't real. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff, that one drop law and all that stuff is fake. It's a construct. So what I'm saying is, the way consciousness moves around in people, like it exists in all groups of people. Whatever. The same way, the animals being spiritual beings. Okay. So that means that if they spiritual beings, that means they possess consciousness. Right? So, you can think you better or worse. Oh, we better than animals. We just kill animals. We eat them when we feel like it. Or okay, we do we want with animals, right? But the old people, the ancient people, the animals were our spirit guides. Meaning like, okay, you're supposed to follow the animal through your life. Like the animal is the guide of your life. The guide or God of your life. Like, okay, the wolf, the bear, the eagle, whatever, there's some stuff in the fish, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? All of the animals is spirit guides. So like, what you get what I'm saying? So like, your perception, you got to build up your perception on how you perceive things, because the people who got good sense, and some of the people that got good sense that's making the rules, the so-called rules in this dimension, they got good sense, man. They know they ain't dealing with, you know what I'm saying? They move you around sometime. I'm just saying, get smart. Don't be like on no emotional stuff. If you want to survive, then you're gonna have to get smart with a lot of different things. That's it. I can go so many different places with this conversation, but because most of our societies is saturated with fake stuff, magic, um, corrupt. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Yeah, don't take nothing personal. You ain't supposed to take nothing personal. But all of these things that I just mentioned, people don't believe in, or people don't believe that they truly exist. So that makes them even more easier to be victimized by people who are using powers, manipulation, all this different kind of stuff. That's why I always try to say, like, people need to watch who they follow behind. Because just because you get a little bit of information from somebody don't mean, okay, I'm talking, I don't have an expertise, but I do have expertise. My expertise is sticking close to God and telling the truth, and I'm a boxing coach. Okay, cool. That's my expertise. But guess what? If I come over here and I start trying to tell you about math, and I'm trying to convince you after a couple months or a year or two, I'm an expert at math. Nah, man, that's not true. So guess what? You may can take from me how to just move and live in like normal, just moving around or whatever, or how you should get your body in shape, or boxing, or how you should stick close to God, which is very important. It's actually most important. But if I try to tell you about math, then you got, man, I ain't listening to you about math because you don't really know nothing about that. You ain't no expert at that. So listen, so some people you got to just take from them what you can take from them. And then you got to move on and maybe learn something from somebody else, or just make up. Hey, you're supposed to be making up your own program for your own self. You know what I'm saying? You should be coming up with your own mantras, daily mantras, and you should, daily ritualistic practices. You know what I mean? Because we have been taught certain ritualistic practices. We are ritualistic anyway. Man is like that. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely stick to ritual. In my perception, I don't think there's nothing wrong with ritual. You should ritually get up in the morning and brush your teeth and wash up and all that. That's a ritual. It should be ritualistic. But what I'm just saying is, develop your own stuff. That's really what I'm advising people. I'm advising myself. I'm doing the best I can to hang on to my sanity, my determination, You know what I mean? And I'm managing my reality. I advise you to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And don't believe in everything you say. I mean everything you hear. Cause right now they drumming up stuff in the world to go a certain way. You know what I mean? And you ain't gotta be a part of it. You don't. It's a lot of good stuff in the world. It's a lot of dimensions where it's all good. People is at peace, people enjoying their lives. So you want to do your best to probably, not probably, you want to do your best to make sure that's where you at, or that's where you are. You know what I mean? And you know, it is what it is, and I know it's true. Meaning, you can think your way out of certain situations. But I do it every day, and I've done it. You know what I mean? I've outlived many chapters that was supposed to, like, I wasn't supposed to make it out of them chapters. And I truthfully avoid trying to talk about certain things because it's trending, and it always takes you into some other stuff. It's me against my family and my friends. The spiritual journey. Everybody who will, if you always going through spiritual awakenings, it's just a thing. Like it's a thing that's really a thing. But when you're conscious of it, you just know that that's what's going on. But doing my best to try to avoid talking about the trending things. It's difficult because I be wanting to talk about certain stuff, and I ain't gonna start just because I'm just saying, because even when you getting into certain things, you may start thinking a certain way and speaking a certain way, and you might be bringing that into your reality, or you might be creating a reality saturated with that due to how you speak on it. So like even with the understanding how your words is creating and all that. All of that has to. You can't be a lunchbox. You just can't be a lunchbox out here. You know what I mean? And every time, and guess what? Control your emotions and control your desires, and that'll keep you a lot safer. And it's day to day. You gotta do it every day. You know what I mean? If you want to be strong and you want your body to get strong, then you gotta do push-ups every day. You can't just do them once a week or once a month and think it's gonna affect you. You gotta do them every day, every other day at least. You know what I mean? And guess what? You'll start getting stronger. You know what I mean? If same thing with walking and running and all that, and doing jumping jacks and all that stuff. It's the same way with your mental and your spiritual body. If you do not exercise it and you do not strengthen it, then it's not going to be strong. And you have to do it more than just one thing. You can't just get hyped for somebody talking about spirituality and you get hyped and all of that, and you burning stage and you trying to and you manifest. Been manifesting, man. That's another thing. You've been manifesting. You ain't got to learn how to manifest. Just be positive and okay. Think about what you want to happen. To happen, it's gonna happen. But you got to do it every day. That's the point I'm trying to make. You got to do it all the time. You can't just do it on the days when you getting excited and hyped about something. Hey y'all, hit that like button for me. I appreciate y'all. I think y'all already did. I can't see too good. I'm still trying to get used to these glasses. But I appreciate if y'all hit that like button because it definitely helps my channel and it helps me. You know what I mean? And I definitely appreciate the help. But I'm just talking, but I'm existing in my reality, and you know, I'm doing the best I can to fulfill my purpose to myself as well as my purpose in how I interact with the world. You know what I mean? So, you know, I am one of the ones that's going to tell the truth. That's going I'm going to try to share what I do know, and do the best I can to try to you know communicate it in a clear and practical way. Because I really desire for everybody to survive and to make it and to be mentally and spiritually strong and at peace. So, it's a thing we got to work on. You know what I mean? And everybody who has something to say should say. Everybody who has something that they think that they should share, they should share. And I don't, I think everything is just useful and helpful for everybody on all the levels. I don't care if you're talking about religion, talking about education, because there's somebody on all of those levels that needs just, let's say, a good word for the day. So I hope my good word for today is just like, do your best to like balance yourself and don't be believing everything that's being put out there. Cause I'm about to I'm gonna jump off, but I'm gonna say this one last thing on this particular one. I can't remember who I was talking about, but I mean who I was listening to. I think might have been listening to Bobby Hemmett, one of those older Bobby Hemmett's foot talks, and he was saying that when you understand and you see the deception, the illusions that's being put down on you and on the people in your reality. When you go to another reality, you can easily see what's going on in their realities, and you can just see like it's the bullcrap of it. I'm in another country, and I just can see crystal clear like what's going on here. And they try to say, oh well, this place is changing and it's changing for the better, and it's all this and all that. But I really see how these people is really being slowly but surely brainwashed into a certain way, a certain thing, and they giving up. They giving up a lot. They don't see it, but I see it. That it's certain things that they're giving up in order to so-called upgrade their society, and it's not really getting upgraded. It's just getting changed. Even the physical of the people, because through words, through bringing on new ritualistic practices, eating different kinds of foods, it being grown a certain kind of way, the people change. The people change physically, mentally, and spiritually. So just be aware of what you just implement into your life. Just be careful. We all have to. We all have to do that. We all have that responsibility. We all have that responsibility to ourselves. And, I hope somebody able to take some type of benefit. Um, I appreciate y'all coming on for a minute and spending a couple minutes with me. And I'll see y'all soon. Stay strong, stay safe, and rock out on peace. Peace. I'm doing two at the same time. Yeah. All right, y'all. YouTube, I appreciate y'all.